Legos are meant for kids. At least that's what boring old people will say. In reality, Legos provide people of all ages with a super unique way to express their creativity. They sure shaped my childhood, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you feel the same way. Heck, I even bought like 5 sets for Christmas. For myself. But you know what's better than a set of Legos? A movie franchise all about them. That's why today we're going to enter the amazing world of the animated Lego movies and their insane master building. Buckle up. As always, watch your feet. You don't want to step on any stray blocks.
He is coming. Cover your butt.
Our first movie opens in an underground hideout, where a wizard named Vitruvius is hiding what is known as the Craggle. Unfortunately for him, a man named Lord Business shows up with his robot henchman, blinds Vitruvius, and steals the Craggle, spewing something about destroying the world. You know, call it my narrator's intuition, but something tells me this Lord Business guy might be evil.
Now my evil power will be unlimited!
Just as he's leaving, Vitruvius tells Lord Business about a prophecy. A yellow-faced special one who will stop his evil plans. We then have a time skip, 8.5 years to be precise. There we are introduced to our main character, Emmet Burkowski, who is, how do I say this nicely, the most average Joe imaginable. He follows all the rules that Lord Business has spelled out for the public to a T, including drinking very overpriced coffee. That one hits a little too close to home. It becomes very clear, though, the most popular song, Everything is Awesome, that this is supposedly happy society is actually a dystopia that is entirely being controlled by Lord Business. It's like 1984, but Legos. After his shift on the construction site, the entire workforce decides to head to a sports bar, and Emmet follows along like he does with every single thing. Unfortunately for him, his trusty instruction manual gets blown away by the wind, and Emmet, being someone who can't even breathe without the instructions, immediately goes after it. Along the way, he sees an incredibly attractive girl looking around the construction site, and in typical guy fashion, completely freezes. Anyway, he tries to stop her from digging around the rubble, but ends up falling down a hole into the site. One very painful descent later, he sees this weird red object in front of him.
I feel like maybe I should touch that.
And hears whispers telling him to touch it. Even though his instruction manual clearly says never to touch mysterious objects, he does it anyway. As soon as he does, he has a series of visions that include Vitruvius and a bunch of other cryptic stuff that will make sense later. I promise. Just keep watching and all will be made clear. As soon as Emmet wakes up, he finds himself locked up in an interrogation room being grilled by a cop. A bad cop, to be specific. Coincidentally, that cop also happens to be a good cop, and probably the best split personality disorder ever displayed on screen. Sorry, James McAvoy. Liam Neeson did it first, and better. He asked him about the object that he touched. It's called the Piece of Resistance, and it's stuck to Emmet's back. Apparently, it's the only thing that can stop Lord Business from destroying the world. And it's here that Emmet finally puts together how the guy that controls all the news and surveillance of the world is actually an evil douchebag.
President Business is going to end the world?
Who would have guessed? Bad Cop plays a montage of all of Emmet's supposed friends talking about how he's basically the most boring and forgetful person to have ever existed, with some of them even forgetting his name. It breaks Emmet's heart, but at least it proves he's not this master builder that Bad Cop is claiming that he is. Right? Wrong, because Bad Cop thinks it's all a cover for his secret identity. They start scorching the piece of resistance off of his back, and it looks like it's all over for Emmet, until that pretty girl from before shows up and starts trashing all the robot henchmen. Her name is Wildstyle, and she saves Emmet from being killed. Together, they escape to the alley. There, she shows us what a master builder can do. She builds a fully functioning badass motorcycle from literal junk in the alley, and they both hop on to make a grand getaway, with Bad Cop and his henchmen hot on their trail. This is when Emmet makes a mistake. Instead of telling her the truth about him being a random guy who just got stuck in the situation, he lies about being the master builder of prophecy. He manages to fluke his way out of that situation, but after some questioning, Wildstyle realizes that he is indeed just an average Joe. After falling through a secret tunnel, they end up in the desert in the Old West, where Wildstyle smacks him with a cactus for being a liar.
You ruined the prophecy.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay? You made being special sound so good.
They dress up as cowboys and head out, but not before Wildstyle tells him she has a boyfriend, and that Emmet does not want to mess with him. Wildstyle clues him into how Lord Business is after the master builders and wants to end the world with the Craggle. And when Emmet tells her it's happening in 3 days, something he learned from Bad Cop, Wildstyle realizes it's happening on Taco Tuesday, which is perhaps the most vile thing Mr. Business could do. They have to hurry up and find Lord Business's office. Speaking of which, that's Lord Business's office. Totally not a supervillain hideout, am I right? We get a montage of Lord Business overseeing everything that happens in the world. From sitcoms to coffee sales and radio shows, he's in charge of everything. He's literally just Big Boss from 1984. He drills Bad Cop for letting Emmet go. But instead of throwing him into the abyss of nothingness, which is just below his office, by the way, he shows Bad Cop the true power of the Kraggle, which as it turns out is just superglue. But he doesn't use it on Bad Cop. No, he uses it on his parents, freezing them in place. But when Good Cop refuses to comply, he uses a Q-tip and nail polish remover to get rid of the Good Cop persona. And Bad Cop proceeds to freeze his parents in place. Well, that wasn't disturbing at all. Later, at a ragtag cowboy bar, Wildstyle and Emmet find Vitruvius, who takes them to his secret hideout. There, Wildstyle tells him that Emmet isn't the special one because he's not a master builder. But Vitruvius has more faith in Emmet than that.
He needs to see that he can.
What are you doing?
We are entering your mind.
What?
So they perform a special ritual and go into his mind to see nothing. Now, literally, his brain is completely empty. It makes sense. After all, he's never had an original thought. But when Vitruvius mentions the man upstairs, Emmet's mind conjures up a picture of his hand. He saw him in the visions he had after touching the piece of resistance, and Vitruvius says that this proves Emmet is worthy, and asks him if he's ready to learn how to be a master builder. And Emmet says yes.
Are you ready, my son?
Yes, I am.
So their next step is to assemble the other masters. Just then, Bad Cop walks into the bar with a picture of Emmet and asks if anybody has seen him. After he draws a cowboy hat onto the picture, a couple of robo-bandits realize they did see him. Uh-oh. They blow up Vitruvius' room, only to see that they've escaped onto the roof.
Look, everybody, we can do this the easy way, or we can do it...
Go, run!
They took the hard way. Fire!
This leads to another epic chase scene where Emmet just can't seem to get anything right, until he attaches a broken wheel to his head to save the day. The three heroes end up on a train, but are still being chased by Bad Cop. Despite their best efforts, they can't shake him. But he ends up blowing up the track, sending them falling into crocodile-infested water. Luckily, just before they fall into this water, they're saved by Batman.
Batman!
What's up, babe?
Babe!
What?
Turns out he's Wildstyle's boyfriend. He not only saves them from becoming crocodile munchies, but kicks Bad Cop's ass and helps them escape through the sun. On their way to Cloud Cuckoo Land, Batman plays them a song he wrote about being an orphan. And it's hilarious.
Darkness! It's about how I'm an orphan. No parents!
They make it to Cloud Cuckoo Land, where they meet Princess Unikitty and the rest of the Master Builders, which includes Wonder Woman, Cleopatra, Superman, Dumbledore, Gandalf, Robin Hood, and the 2002 NBA All-Stars. This movie is the epitome of randomness, and I love it. Vitruvius tells them about Lord Business's plan, which makes them all lose their mind, but then he makes Emmet give them all a speech of hope, which goes as well as you'd imagine. They all see him as a fraud, especially Metalbeard, who tells him the sob story about how he lost his body and turned into a cyborg. Emmet's speech is a colossal failure, and everybody gives up on him. Just then, Emmet makes the grave mistake of saying that it can't get any worse. As it turns out, it can. Bad Cop shot Emmet with a tracker, and it led the bad guys right to the Master Builder's secret hideout. They begin blowing everything up, and the Master Builders are powerless against them. Princess Unikitty, Batman, Wildstyle, Vitruvius, and a spaceman named Benny, who really wants to build a spaceship, all pair up to build a submarine to help them escape with Emmet. They manage to do it. And what did Emmet do in the meantime? He built a double-decker couch.
You are so disappointing on so many levels.
Just then, their submarine starts filling with water and crashes. Bad Cop scans the sea and says the special one is officially done for. Meanwhile, back at Lord Business's office, all the captured Master Builders are locked up in the think tank, where their minds are used to build everything in Lord Business's world. Bad Cop reports that the special one is done for, and tells Lord Business about the double-decker couch they saw in the remains. And even Lord Business makes fun of how useless it is. Until we see that Emmet and the others actually survived thanks to the couch. Not such a bad idea now, is it? Everyone is praising Emmet, but Batman points out they're all stuck in the middle of the ocean with nowhere to go. It's not like a giant ship is going to come save them, so naturally a giant ship comes and saves them. It's Metalbeard, and he swoops their couch right up. He says that the couch proves that Emmet is the only one that can fool Lord Business. That is, because only he can come up with ideas that are so bad, Lord Business couldn't even fathom how to stop them. He gives the Master Builders a speech about how they can't work as a team, and if they do, they can beat Lord Business. His speech works, and so they ask him his plan, and it's simple. All they have to do is follow the instructions. Emmet's plan revolves around them getting to Lord Business's tower undetected. From there, his experience as a construction worker means he knows exactly where all the wiring and the air ducts lead, meaning he can lead them straight to the Kraggle. To do this, they have to build a spaceship, but not the one Benny wants, which really pisses him off.
Sorry, Benny. Maybe next time.
Oh, you're really letting the oxygen out of my tank here.
Instead, they have to build the exact same one Lord Business's company uses. Batman says they can't do that because they need a hyperdrive for that. It's not like a spaceship is going to appear out of the sky, so naturally a spaceship appears out of the sky. It's Han Solo, and he's on his way to an intergalactic party. Batman acts like he's going to join them, and it breaks Wildstyle's heart. But it turns out he was just putting up an act to steal their hyperdrive, which gets them eaten by a giant space worm, by the way, but, let's not talk about that part. After some creative hiccups, because the Master Builders aren't used to following instructions, they build the spaceship and head on over to the office building where they successfully infiltrate it. Then they sneak into Lord Business's office and use the relics to come up with disguises. Benny and Metalbeard disable the Kraggle's shield. Batman goes in as Bruce Wayne and stalls Lord Business, and Wildstyle and Emmet sneak into the Kraggle room. After a brush up with the robots, they sing "Everything is Awesome" to keep their cover, and get into the air vents. There, Wildstyle and Emmet have a real heart-to-heart, and Wildstyle tells him her real name, Lucy.
Lucy.
What?
That was my real name.
Emmet says that he likes her real name. Lucy heads off to do her part of the plan, and Emmet and Batman get ready to steal the Kraggle. She tricks Bad Cop into leaving the room, and Metalbeard gets the shield to go down just in time. But just as Emmet's about to put the piece of resistance on the Kraggle, Bad Cop walks in and captures everybody. Vitruvius tries to put up a last stand, but gets beheaded by Lord Business.
Vitruvius! No!
That's when he reveals the truth. The prophecy was something that he made up. Emmet actually isn't the special one. But before he can elaborate, Vitruvius passes away, and everything seems lost. After Lord Business locks up all of his friends, he removes the piece of resistance from Emmet's back and tosses it into the abyss below his office. With that, Lord Business unleashes the Kraggle, and plans to start his plan by freezing Emmet's hometown first. He leaves all the Master Builders to be shocked to their doom, and leaves Emmet to watch on in horror as he begins freezing everybody. Back at the office, Emmet has lost all hope. But Vitruvius' ghost tells him that the only reason he made up the prophecy is because he knew anyone who found the piece of resistance could be special. All they need to do is believe in themselves. So Emmet jumps into the abyss to disable the computer and save his friends. One small problem with that: the jumping into the abyss part. He's gone. Everyone is depressed. But that's when Lucy comes up with an idea. She shows up on TV and tells the people of the universe that they can all be as special as Emmet, and that they need to come together and fight against Lord Business. As she puts it, Freedom Friday on a Tuesday. That's when robo-henchmen show up to stop them, but they're defeated by Bad Cop? Turns out there's still a good cop inside of him, as he scribbles a smile on his face with a pen.
I'll hold these guys off. You go stop them. Yay!
They need to find a way out of the office, and that means it's finally time for Benny to build a spaceship, which he very happily does, and gets them back to Emmet's world in literally seconds. The Master Builders and the townspeople are all building stuff and fighting against Lord Business and his robots. Meanwhile, turns out Emmet isn't doomed. He's falling through the abyss and blacks out. When he wakes up, he's in the real world. Our real world, where he's just a Lego character and he can't move.
No. No. Oh, no. Hey, don't eat me. Don't eat me. Do not eat me. Please.
Hi, Emmet.
There, he's saved by a human kid, Finn, who knows his name. And that's when we see the man upstairs, which is Will Ferrell. In the real world, Will Ferrell is having an argument with his son about Will's Lego collection. He says Lego isn't a child's thing even though he bought it at a child's store. How he needs to put everything back the way that it was. You see, in the world that Finn imagined, his father is Lord Business, the guy who wants everything to be perfect all the time, ruin all the fun, and Emmet is Finn. As Will Ferrell is putting everything back together, Emmet uses sheer willpower to move and go towards the piece of resistance. Finn distracts his dad and gives Emmet the piece, sending him back into his world. And he's ready to kick ass. As he makes his way back, he starts seeing everything and he realizes what's happening. He's a master builder. He builds a giant construction machine robot and saves his friends. With some help from Princess Unikitty, he gets into Lord Business's ship and tries to face him one-on-one. But he uses the Kraggle to freeze Emmet in place. But just as he's about to end everything, Emmet does his best Naruto impression and tells Lord Business that he should join all the people that are doing their best to create cool things, because they're inspired by Lord Business. In the real world, Finn says the same things to his dad. He says the prophecy is made up, but it's also true, and it's about everybody. And what do you know? It works in both worlds. Lord Business seals the Kraggle shut and it explodes, shutting off all the robots. Emmet and Lucy finally meet in a heart-melting scene, and even Batman signs off on it. Lord Business unfreezes everybody, and Bad Cop gets to see his parents again. There's just one small problem. Now that Finn can come down here and play with them, so can his sister. And that means that Emmet and his friends have to deal with the creatures from planet Duplon, who are here to destroy them. Oh boy.
We are here to destroy you.
The Lego Movie 2 kicks off exactly where the Lego Movie ended, which is kinda depressing for the characters because they just got done with one planet-ending threat and have to deal with another one immediately. Now, Emmet, being the sweet guy that he is, makes the invaders a Lego heart and offers peace. Unfortunately, they just eat it and say that they want more. They try fighting against the aliens, but it's completely useless. They're just built different. One of them literally eats lasers. President Business goes off to play golf, leaving Finn and his sister, Bianca's characters, to figure it out themselves. And let's just say that Bianca is winning. The Justice League sets off to chase down the aliens wherever they came from and stop them. But 5 years have passed and no one has seen them since. Now Emmet and his friends all live in a post-apocalyptic hellscape aptly named Apocalypseburg. They've given up anything cute and shiny because it attracts the aliens who just come back and destroy it. Life there is hell. There are no laws and no rules, with everyone fighting all the time, which we see as Emmet goes to get his morning coffee. Even Good Cop has a frown now. Things are really rough. Emmet gets Lucy some coffee while she's brooding on top of a building, and she tries to teach him how to do it. He sucks at first, but then starts recalling a dream he had where he lost everybody he loved into black holes, and Gandalf called it Armageddon, and he broods real good. Lucy asks him if the dream was a vision, and he says it was just a dream.
That was definitely just a dream, right? Not some vision of the future.
No.
After he's done with that, Emmet shows Lucy what he's been working on. A cute little home just for the two of them. It has everything, even a toaster room and a double-decker swing out back. Lucy appreciates Emmet's enthusiasm, but tells him he has to let go of the awesome past. They have to be hardened and battle-ready.
We also have to grow up sometime. Can you do that for me?
Well, yeah, I can try.
Just then, they see something enter the Earth's atmosphere and head out on a recon mission. They get to a safe spot and see a spaceship surveying the landscape. Unfortunately, Emmet can't help but vibe with the music that it is playing and gets them spotted. They have to run away from the spaceship and build up a car to do so. After some maneuvering, Emmet ends up destroying the house that he built, and he's devastated. After that, Kitty sends a help flare, and everyone in Apocalypseburg heads out Mad Max style to fight the spaceship. It doesn't go super well, especially for Metalbeard, who loses everything but his head. Poor guy. Emmet, Lucy, and Kitty manage to get away, but not before one of the ship's stars gets stuck in their doorway. Eventually, Batman finally destroys the ship using the Statue of Liberty. What a crazy sentence that I just said very casually. Everyone starts celebrating, but that's when Lucy sees somebody approaching them. Her name is General Mayhem, and she wants to open the gate that sits between Apocalypseburg and the cruel world outside.
Open the gate!
But Lucy says the gate is never going to open. Meanwhile, Emmet sees the stuck star and feels very bad for it. So he opens the gate, letting General Mayhem in. General Mayhem asks for the greatest leaders, and everyone starts arguing about who exactly that is. General Mayhem then tells them she's here to take their greatest leaders to a wedding ceremony. She then captures Lucy, Batman, Benny, Kitty, and Metalbeard and flies off. Emmet has another vision of Finn and his sister, and then wakes up to see everybody blaming him. What's more, no one believes in Emmet to lead this mission, and they leave him to go after his friends all alone. But this is Emmet we're talking about. He's not gonna give up that easy.
I'll show them all how tough I am.
So he builds a spaceship out of his destroyed home and sets out after his friends. Benny would be proud. Meanwhile, with General Mayhem, the Master Builders make it to the Sistar system. There, they meet the queen of the Sistar system, Whatevera Wanabe, a being who can shapeshift into any form that she wants. Anyway, she says she wants to help them and says all they have to do is take part in a wedding ceremony. Lucy refuses, but she convinces the rest of the gang through a very catchy song about how she definitely isn't evil.
I'm so not a villain, I have zero evil plans. No ulterior motives, just wanna help where I can.
All they have to do is be part of a ceremony where she marries Batman. Batman and the crew then refuse because he's so not ready to settle down. But she summons her henchmen and forces them to get dressed in their wedding best.
Take them to get changed for the ceremony. And this one needs to get changed most of all.
Meanwhile, Emmet makes it to the Stairgate, a portal he has to cross through, and immediately ends up in an asteroid belt. He's about to crash into an asteroid, but then a rad dude in a spacesuit saves his life and gets him through. The guy reveals himself to be Rex Dangervest. Rex tells Emmet about his tragic backstory about how he got abandoned by his friends, which Emmet can relate to given his current situation. That's when Rex realizes who Emmet actually is, the hero who saved everybody from Lord Business. Turns out he's a huge fan. Emmet then realizes Rex can teach him how to be mature and battle-hardened like him.
Teach me to be like you, someone Lucy will be proud of, and I'll be the brother you never had.
and Rex agrees. Together, they head out to the Sistar system. Meanwhile, General Mayhem is taking the crew to Planet Sparkles, and Lucy snags one of the heart-shaped bombs on the ship. On Planet Sparkles, they meet a bunch of crystal vampires who say that they're going to fix them up. During this treatment, everybody realizes that Lucy's hair isn't black with colored streaks, it's actually colored. Turns out, she's actually hiding an undark cutesy past, and she's not always been the rebel that she is today. She's then taken away for some music therapy, which is supposed to make her comply with their demands. While this is all happening, Emmet and Rex pick a planet to invade and they head out. Unfortunately, they pick the wrong planet, and Rex teaches Emmet how to avoid being taken advantage of by cute things. Rex then teaches him how to be a master breaker, basically the opposite of a master builder. That's when they stumble upon some weird outcast society, and Emmet sees Superman, who's Silly Man now. The rest of the Justice League seem brainwashed too, and they say it's the song that changed them, before they start singing it for Emmet. Speaking of brainwashed music, Lucy is subjected to catchy pop music in a torture room. She breaks out only to see Unikitty as well as the rest of her friends having been brainwashed. Emmet and Rex are in the same predicament on their planet and are being chased by everybody there, as Lucy's friends are chasing her. Everyone's brainwashed, everyone's being chased. It's not a good time. Lucy manages to escape into an air duct, where she meets Bruce Willis. Nice Die Hard reference. She keeps looking for an exit, but can't seem to escape the music. Meanwhile, Rex holds off the brainwashed people while Emmet uses master breaking to help him and Rex escape to another planet. Which, unfortunately, happens to be Planet Duplon, where all the original monsters that attacked Earth are from. Back at Planet Sparkles, General Mayhem is still looking for Lucy, but the Queen isn't bothered. Meanwhile, Emmet and Rex manage to get onto a transport vehicle that'll get them to the wedding. The brainwashed friends are all partying on a ship, and Lucy is hanging onto the underside of it. That's when Lucy spots Emmet, and meets Rex at Dangervest too. She then fills them in on what's happening.
We have to stop it, or we're all doomed, and it's all going down right there at
The Space Temple.
Meanwhile, General Mayhem brings the new sparkly Batman to the Queen, and she tries to convince him to marry him. Batman wants no part of it, but the Queen uses reverse psychology by saying she doesn't actually want to marry him, in the form of a song, of course, because she seems to think that everything sounds better when it's a song. Now, unfortunately, this does end up working, because Batman starts singing about why she should marry him, and by the end of it, he's totally ready to marry her.
Please marry me.
Are you sure this is what you really want?
Yes.
Damn it, Batman. Emmet, Rex, and Lucy manage to escape a lava pit using a toaster, and they see the Queen's wedding cake of doom. There, Emmet hatches up a plan to destroy the temple and save everybody, which impresses Lucy. But when Emmet sees Lucy's real hair, Rex questions if they can trust her. He thinks that she's been brainwashed, but Emmet says he can always trust her, and they head off to save their friends. Meanwhile, the Queen and Batman are bonding over their wedding plans, including throwing a batarang instead of a bouquet because, of course, that's what Batman wants to do. Lucy sneaks in on the ground while Rex and Emmet get in through the air ducts. Lucy beats up one of the guards and steals her suit and is planning to shut down their plan. Unfortunately, General Mayhem was waiting for her, and they start duking it out. Emmet makes it to the wedding just as it's about to start and sees his brainwashed friends show up to support the groom. Rex tells him to get ready to do his part in the mission, and Emmet thanks him for helping him change so much. But Rex just says he should thank himself.
Thanks for helping me change for the tougher. Don't thank me, thank yourself.
Batman and the Queen show up, and the ceremony begins. Meanwhile, Mayhem and Lucy are still fighting while arguing over who started the war. That's when Mayhem's helmet falls off and she's dangling off a ledge. Lucy ends up saving her life, and then she explains that the only reason they were acting tough was because they wanted to communicate with them, which for anyone keeping up with the real-world side of the story is a clear analogy for Finn's little sister trying to connect with him, but struggling because of the age gap. In fact, the Queen's original form is the same heart that Emmet gave the people of Planet Duplon at the start of the movie. The wedding isn't going to cause Armageddon. It's going to stop it from happening. Lucy realizes her friends aren't brainwashed, and that everybody here is actually good, nice, and sweet. But that makes her ask the question, if they're not the bad guys, who is? Turns out Rex is the one behind the destruction of the ceremony, and he's convinced Emmet to go through with it. Lucy gets to Emmet and tells him that he's wrong about the whole thing. But Rex says Lucy's brainwashed and tells him to hurry up with the Master Breaker Punch. His friends try to stop him, but Emmet is too powerful, and he's making it to the top of the temple. But Lucy tells him the truth, that her hair is colored. She used to be cutesy and dance, that she only pretends to be tough. But Emmet says the real Lucy would never say that, and destroys the temple anyway.
What's happening? What did I just do?
Emmet tries to save Lucy, but Rex swoops in and saves him, leaving everyone else to perish and sending Lucy outside the Lego set, into the real world where she sees Finn and his sister fighting. Emmet tells Rex that they need to go save their friends, But Rex says nobody came to save them. When Emmet asks what he means by that, Rex reveals the truth. He's Emmet from the future.
I'm you.
Turns out, when Emmet was going through the stairgate, he was supposed to crash and get separated from all of his friends. Then after spending so long in isolation, he used sheer willpower to get out of a situation and give himself a new identity. And that is why he went back in time, using help from Skynet, the Back to the Future DeLorean, and Doctor Who, and saved Emmet to make sure he saved him and no one else. All of this really confuses Emmet, so he just asks one simple thing: what is Armageddon? And he gets his answer. It's Finn and Sister's mom. She sees them fighting and says that it's the last straw. They both need to put all their toys in the storage room, which is the black hole from Emmet's dream. Rex tells Emmet to give up on his friends, but Emmet refuses. So he sends Emmet to the same place that he was stuck, under the dryer. Meanwhile, all of Emmet's friends, including Lucy, are falling into the black holes, and it all seems hopeless. Finn and his sister are putting all the boxes away, and Emmet just watches on helplessly as the movie says that it's the end. But Lucy says it can't end like that.
No, this needs to have a happy ending.
Seems like a downer to me.
And she starts singing hope back into everybody's heart. Emmet hears the song and calls out to Lucy, grabbing Finn's attention. He opens the box and takes Lucy out. Meanwhile, Rex makes it to Emmet and they begin fighting. Emmet says he'll never be like Rex, because hardening your heart is easy to do, but keeping it open, that's the hard thing to do. Meanwhile, we get flashbacks of Finn bonding with his sister, and Finn goes into his sister's room and gives her the same heart he gave her way back then. The Queen wakes up again, and everybody starts building their world back together. But the first step is to save Emmet from Rex. Rex sends his raptors to fight with Emmet's friends, and they have a Star Wars space battle. It looks like Rex is about to finish Emmet off, but Lucy shows up just in the nick of time to destroy Rex's time machine and stop him. With his plans foiled, Emmet and Lucy tell Rex he should join them. It's not too late to be good again. But because Lucy saved Emmet, it means Rex never existed, and he Back to the Future's out of existence. Lucy and Emmet hold hands as they walk back home. And Finn and Bianca's mom watches on as they finally decide to play nice with each other. Their characters have joined their homes to make Sistar Apocalypseburg, and everyone is having an absolute blast.
Anyway, you fixed everything that was going on, all the crazy stuff?
Lucy remakes the home Emmet had planned for her, and everything is awesome again. Speaking of that song, Lucy gives Emmet the original album, and when you know it, she was one of the singers that originally made it, and the movie ends on that bombshell. But now, we get into the real MVP of LEGO movies. Because we all know Batman has had a ton of big and little screen iterations, but somehow this spoof LEGO version ranks pretty darn high on even the broodiest of Batman fans. Sorry, Ben Affleck. When it comes to being Batman, you can't step to Will Arnett. The movie begins with Batman saying all important movies start with a black screen, edgy music, and a lot of logos, and finishing it off by stealing a Michael Jackson line. Then the movie really starts, with a plane just outside Gotham's airspace. It's just a regular plane with 11 million sticks of dynamite, 17,000 pounds of C4, and 150 regular bombs. And they decide the best course of action is to fly directly over the single most crime-ridden city in the world. This goes just about as well as you'd expect. Joker and his goons get on the plane and hijack it.
You should be terrified.
Why?
Because I will be taking over the city. What?
But the pilot isn't too worried and just tells Joker that Batman will stop him. But Joker isn't alone this time. Riddler, Scarecrow, Catwoman, Bane, Two-Face, Clayface, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Penguin, and just about every single enemy for Batman's Rogue Gallery you can think of are all attacking Gotham right now. What's more, Joker has compromised the bat signal, so he can't even be called. With that, Bane sets off an explosion in the reactor building and all of GCPD gets there. Commissioner Gordon gets a call from Joker who explains his plan. He puts a bomb on the reactor, and he wants the mayor to negotiate his surrender of the city. And if the mayor doesn't comply, well, bomb go boom and Gotham go bye-bye. And with no Batman in sight, the mayor is forced to enter the building. Joker is ready to make the city his. But that's when the mayor changes her voice to the familiar growl we all know and love. It's Batman in disguise.
You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Now completely outnumbered, Joker tells him there's no way that he can win. But Batman just starts singing a song about how he's going to kick everybody's ass, and then he proceeds to kick everybody's ass, while also admitting he doesn't pay his taxes, okay? It doesn't matter that all of Batman's villains are there, he takes them all down. But there's one problem. There's 1 minute left on the bomb's timer, and Batman has to choose between saving the city or stopping his greatest enemy from going free. Well, at least that's what Joker says. You see, Batman doesn't think Joker is his greatest enemy. In fact, he doesn't even think he has an arch nemesis. And if he had to name one, it'd be Superman. Go figure. Anyway, that realization breaks Joker's heart.
You mean nothing to me. No one does.
And Batman lets him go free and defuses the bomb. The entire city congratulates him, and then he drives off. On his way back home, he stops by the Gotham orphanage to give the kids some Bat merch, before telling them to take care of their abs and making his way back to Wayne Manor. Oh, and the password of the Batcave is Iron Man sucks. Of course it is. But when he gets home, he's alone. He changes clothes, keeping the mask on of course, and then reheats his dinner, just staring at the food as it spins around in his microwave. His dinner all alone too, and then plays his guitar for a little bit before laughing at a romantic movie. It is clear that this guy has some serious issues. After that, he goes to a picture of his parents and tells them about his day, before being scared by Alfred and karate kicking him into the piano. After he gets out of the piano, Alfred tells Batman that he's very concerned about him. He stays up all night fighting crime, fueled by rage and anger, and ignores his feelings. Alfred puts it plainly, Batman can't continue like this for the rest of his life, and the only reason Batman is doing this is because his biggest fear is to be part of a family again. But Batman just disagrees and says it's actually snake clowns. His biggest fear is snake clowns? Yeah, that makes sense.
Your greatest fear is being a part of a family again.
Then after Batman realizes he has to go to Commissioner Gordon's retirement party, he moans about it for a little bit, but agrees when he realizes he gets to wear a tuxedo. On the way there, Alfred forces him to take his mask off, and then Batman turns on the TV, where Superman is giving an interview about how he recently sent General Zod to the Phantom Zone. He talks about how he wouldn't be Superman without Zod, and we see that Joker is watching the same interview, wondering why Batman can't feel the same way. He's thinking about how to get Batman's respect, and then just then, Superman starts talking about all the legendary villains that are stuck in the Phantom Zone, and Joker says he's starting to get an idea. Oh boy. Back to Batman, or rather Bruce Wayne. He's just arrived at the party. He gives the cameras a couple of poses before he starts chit-chatting with the elite, including the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, a young orphan named Richard Grayson spots Bruce and immediately runs over to him. Why? Well, think about it. Bruce Wayne is literally the greatest orphan of all time, and this kid wants to get some tips. Just then, the new commissioner arrives, and this is where we get that meme format. Anyway, Bruce is completely smitten by the new commissioner and starts saying yes to everything the kid says without paying attention to the fact that he basically just agreed to adopt him.
Do you think you'd be interested in adopting me as your future orphan son?
Definitely.
Oh, this is great!
This definitely won't bite him in the ass later. The mayor then gives Commissioner Gordon his send-off before introducing Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's daughter, and the new commissioner of Gotham. She starts off her speech, and Bruce is super interested, until she starts criticizing Batman for sucking at his job. You see, her argument is simple. Despite all the hard work that Batman has done, he hasn't apprehended any of his greatest villains. Gotham doesn't need a grown man walking around in tights to save them, they need a plan and a policy. She wants Batman and the police to work hand in hand, and wants proper laws made about it. And Bruce hates that idea. Barbara is explaining her plan when everyone suddenly starts hearing laughter. That's when Joker and his goons crash the party, making everybody run for their lives. Batman suits up and starts master building to kick some villain butt.
I've got a surprise for you guys!
Meanwhile, Barbara shows off her sick skills by clearing a path for the mayor and Jim Gordon. That's when Batman shows up to face Joker, and Joker surrenders. Yep. Just like that. And not only does he surrender, he packs up all of Batman's villains and literally gift wraps them for Barbara. Batman gets ready to take the glory for the catch, but he doesn't get it. It all goes to Barbara instead. After that, a reporter asks Batman what he's going to do with the rest of his life since all the bad guys have been caught, and another says he can finally spend some time with his family. This sends Batman into a depressed state. I mean, what is Batman without his villains? A super rich billionaire? Lame. After a while, he ends up going to spy on Joker, but gets caught by Barbara. They both know Joker is up to something, and Barbara says they need to work together to stop him. But Batman isn't interested.
Why don't you and I work together, inside the law, to figure out what he's up to?
Batman works alone. That's my motto. Copyright Batman.
Just then, thanks to a suspiciously named cleaning service, Batman knows what to do to the Joker. Send him to the Phantom Zone. Barbara says he can't, but this is Batman. He's not going to take orders from anybody. Batman goes back and immediately starts cooking the plan to put Joker into the Phantom Zone, but Alfred tries to stop him by using a parental lock. And when that doesn't work, he drops a bombshell on Batman that he accidentally adopted Richard Grayson, who we'll call Dick, at Jim Gordon's retirement party. Don't you remember that? He tries convincing Batman he needs to take this kid under his wing, like Alfred did for him. And when that doesn't work, he just lets Dick into the Batcave. After fanboying about everything in there, Batman tells him to stay put. But he realizes that he's too big and noticeable to steal the Phantom Zone projector from Superman's Fortress of Solitude.
Only a person that isn't shredded, ripped, or extremely swole can enter the cauldron.
I'm way too buff.
So he gets a great idea. He's gonna use the kid. After spending some time picking out a suit, Robin is born. And Batman's ready to get the Phantom Zone projector even though Alfred hates this idea. They head out in the Batmobile and Robin loves every second of it. They make it to the fortress and Batman's plan starts. Robin sneaks in while Batman distracts Superman, who he expects to be alone. Turns out Superman is having a huge anniversary party with all the members of the Justice League, and Batman was the only guy who wasn't invited. Batman checks in with Robin, who has made it to the projector. Batman disables the lasers and starts guiding Robin on how to get the projector, including how to master build, and it's epic. Even Batman's pretty impressed. He makes it out of there and realizes that he's proud of himself. For being a good teacher, of course. It's clear that he has taken a liking to this kid, since he keeps him around for the next part of his plan, banishing Joker into the Phantom Zone forever.
When going stealth, you gotta hide every part of you, physically and emotionally.
They try to stealth their way to Joker in Arkham Asylum, but run into Barbara. After Batman almost sorta confesses his feelings, he lies about agreeing to work on the Joker case with her. Once inside, Barbara finds the Phantom Zone projector on Robin and tries to snatch it from Batman, but he just smoke bombs his way out of it. He makes it to the Joker and he taunts Batman into sending him to the Phantom Zone. After that, both Batman and Robin get locked up, and Barbara tells him he messed up big time and disappointed her in the process. Meanwhile, Joker ends up in the Phantom Zone and he meets all the villains there, including Sauron, Medusa, Count Dracula, the shark from Jaws, King Kong, Agent Smith, and also a T-Rex. Unfortunately, they all think he's boring and are about to eat him until he tells them he can get them out of there. Back at Arkham, the guards with the Phantom Zone projector get taken out by Harley Quinn and she frees all the villains from the Phantom Zone into Gotham City. The first one who shows up is Voldemort, followed by Sauron, King Kong, the Wicked Witch, Medusa, and some evil British robots. Batman still won't accept Joker as his greatest villain. Joker uses Sauron's help to find the Batcave and destroys Wayne Manor and everything in it. Robin is terrified, and Batman cheers him up with beatboxing. Anyway, that's when Barbara tells Batman that she needs his help. There's one condition. He has to let Barbara help him. He agrees, and Alfred joins them.
Grab onto me.
First, they have to get past Sauron, who can see their every move. Just then, their building gets ambushed by King Kong, but the team master builds a Batwing to get out of the situation. They head to Wayne Manor, only to find Joker has found two things: all of Batman's weapons, but much more importantly, his collection of rom-com movies. Now that is embarrassing. Joker fires all of the weapons at them and he destroys all the Batwing's engines, meaning Batman has to fix them. Just then, Robin falls off the Batwing, and Batman dives after him, saving his life. But just when he thought he was out of danger, Alfred falls off the Batwing, and it looks like he's a goner. Until Barbara helps Batman save him, and that's when Batman finally realizes he can trust other people to help him. Gee, it only took him more than 2/3 of the movie. Together, they evade a bunch of enemies and fly straight into Sauron's eye, tricking Godzilla into blasting him into oblivion. I said it once earlier, and I will say it again. What a crazy sentence to say completely casually. They somehow survive that and celebrate as a team, and that's when Batman realizes he has what he's been missing since his childhood: a family. He can't lose his family again. So he locks them into the Scuttler and sends them to a safe place. Everybody is hurt, including me.
Batman works alone.
Batman, please.
Scuttler, move out!
You're doing the wrong thing. Listen to me.
And Batman heads into the Batcave to take down the Joker, who finds him immediately and traps him in a house of mirrors. After that, he confronts Batman and gives him one last chance to accept Joker as his greatest enemy. But when he stubbornly refuses, Joker decides he's finally had enough of him and sends him to the Phantom Zone. Joker and his buddies head out with bombs to blow up Gotham City, and Batman ends up in the Phantom Zone. There, the screens show him all the times that he was an absolute douche to the people who love him, and Batman finally realizes how much of an ass he's been to everybody around him. He's not a bad guy, but he's not exactly a good guy either. He realizes he wasn't protecting his friends, he was protecting himself. Just then, the screen shows his friends going back to the Batcave, and he begs to let him out.
Just give me 24 hours and I'll come back.
Promising that he'll change this time. He only needs 24 hours to save his friends. He gets back and saves his friends in the nick of time before giving a really painful apology to Barbara. When that doesn't work, he admits he was afraid of losing the people that he cares about. Hell, he even made Babs a signal, a Robin signal, and an Alfred signal, and finally asks for their help. Oh, and he brings all the villains from Arkham to help save Gotham too.
Joker may be done with us, but we're not done with him.
We will be the Joker's reckoning!
While Joker sets up the same bomb from the start of the movie, Batman and his friends suit up and get ready to take back Gotham. Together with some classic white girl music and Batman's rogue gallery, they head out and start taking down the Phantom Zone baddies. With their combined power, the enemies don't stand a chance, and they make it to the bomb. One by one, they start sending villains back to the Phantom Zone, but just as Batman is about to defuse the bomb, it explodes. Gotham literally starts tearing apart. So Batman and everybody else in the city link up to pull it back together. But they're not long enough, and Batman can't hold on. Just then, Batman sees Joker standing on the other side, and he admits that the Joker is his greatest villain.
You just said, us?
Yeah, Batman and the Joker.
With his help, they manage to stop Gotham from being completely obliterated. Batman finally tells Joker he hates him.
I hate you, Joker.
I hate you too.
I hate you more.
I hate you the most.
And the city rejoices. Unfortunately, his 24 hours are up. Batman has to go back to the Phantom Zone. Before leaving, he tells Robin his secret identity and tells him losing people is part of life, but he should never stop letting people in. He learned that from his family. He hugs Robin goodbye and blasts himself with the projector, heading back to the Phantom Zone. But the Phantom Zone rejects him. Tells him that he's actually changed. They decide to give the villains a 30-minute head start, have dinner, and watch a movie in the meantime. Batman puts up the new family photo, and the movie ends with Robin's song. And that was our recap of the LEGO movie franchise. My favorite is the LEGO Batman movie, but I'm pretty biased. Which one of those absolute classics is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. See ya.